Place the portal in the middle of the playing area and randomly draw 6 tiles to place around it. If one of the tiles is the dragon lair, place the dragon on top of it. If there are any magic altars, place sentinels on top of them. Choose your character and place a health marker on the 3rd space of the health track. Place your pawn on the portal. Shuffle the wilderness deck and place it face up on the wilderness board. Stack the monster hexes by color and place them on their corresponding plus card hex. Shuffle the quest and haggle decks and place them face down on the table. Without looking, shuffle the grail tokens and place one of each on their corresponding symbol on the wilderness board. This will be the secret location of the grail for the duration of the game. Place the coins and upgrade cubes near your player board. Draw 1 card from the quest deck and 1 card from the wilderness deck. You are now ready to play. On your turn, you will first draw a card from the wilderness deck into your hand. You will then resolve monster movement, which we will get to in a moment. You will then move onto any adjacent hex, revealing all territories around it. Then you may perform the action indicated on the hex. The Forage Action allows you to draw 2 cards from the wilderness deck into your hand. The Haggle Action allows you to discard 2 cards from your hand to the Desolation pile in exchange for either 2 coins or an item. If you choose an item, you will draw 2 cards from the Haggle deck and choose 1 to keep. Leave the other item face up near the Haggle deck. The Craft Action will allow you to combine 2 cards of the same color. You have 2 slots for crafted items. You may also choose to not perform an action and rest instead. This allows you to restore 1 health point and spend your coins on upgrades. The card you draw in the beginning of your turn determines the monster's action. The color of the card determines which monsters are active this turn. In this case, red corresponds to goblins. The bottom of the card determines what action they do and where. In this case, goblins spawn on adjacent brown terrain. Here we have a movement symbol. Movement is for all creatures on the map, not only adjacent ones. Again, we look at the color of the card, and the terrain at the bottom tells us where they want to move to. If the creature doesn't have anywhere to move, we treat the card as a spawning card. In this case, yellow spawn on green. When you and a creature end up on the same hex, combat is initiated. You may choose which cards to use in combat, but creatures are immune to their own color cards. You also declare which skills you wish to use before combat begins. The creature's attacks are indicated on the top of their hex. Goblins draw the top 2 cards of the wilderness deck. Because we are using the Arcane Blast ability, we can now add the top card of the wilderness deck to our own card, if they match by color. The player wins combat in case of a tie. Any unblocked attack causes the player to lose 1 health point. The creature's cards are then discarded to the Dragon Horde, while the player's cards are discarded to the Desolation pile. The player then continues his turn and gains the rewards indicated on the right side of the creature's hex. In this case, 1 coin. Here, the player decides to attack the dragon. The dragon's first attack is a steal attack, meaning that he takes the player's highest uncrafted card before combat. The player then chooses the cards, items, and skills he wants to use. He chooses to use the Sturdy Buckler and the Arcane Blast. The dragon's second and third attacks are crafted, so he draws 2 cards for each. After the dragon's attack, the player uses Arcane Blast to add red cards from the top of the wilderness pile to his attack. He may do this as long as the top card is red. The player wins this battle, as his total is higher than the dragon's total. The Sturdy Buckler blocks the dragon's lowest attack, so the player does not take damage from it. The player takes 1 damage for the 1 attack left unblocked. When all creatures of one color are on the map, they get a bonus drawing attack until one of them is removed. The dragon and sentinels also benefit from the same bonus, so it's a good idea to keep them in check to weaken stronger enemies. Each type of creature has a unique horde ability. Wolves add +1 to their total in combat for every adjacent wolf. Goblins spawn more goblins to their previous location whenever they move. Spiders gain an extra draw attack when they are adjacent to other spiders. The dragon spawns when the dragon's lair is revealed. Sentinels spawn when magic altars are revealed. When the player ends his turn on the dragon's lair, the dragon horde is shuffled and added to the wilderness deck. When the player ends his turn on the magic altar, a grail marker is revealed. You can now use the magic altar to teleport between portals. When you defeat the final sentinel, you uncover the location of the grail. The dragon flies off of the dragon lair and to that location, if the location is visible. You may not check underneath monsters for that location if it is not visible. If you or a creature need to draw a card from the wilderness deck and there are none left, you lose the game. If you lose all of your health points, you also lose the game. If you have defeated the dragon and end your turn on the grail location, you are victorious.